They say every fairy tale has a dark side, and when it comes to Meghan Markle, oh honey, this one might just outshine all the rest. Because according to people who've been close enough to smell the perfume behind those royal walls, Meghan didn't walk into that palace as some innocent bride swept off her feet. No, she walked in like a woman with a mission that started long before Harry ever laid eyes on her, maybe even long before she knew his name. And the most haunting part? That mission may have been inspired by someone she never even met. Princess Diana. Now sit tight, because this isn't your average royal romance. This is a story about timing, identity, and power, about a broken prince and a woman who, some say, knew exactly how to use that brokenness to her advantage. Before the world saw the sparkling tiara, before the vows, before the scandal and the tears, there was a quiet, calculated beginning. Long before Meghan's name made headlines, she was reportedly studying not just any woman, but the woman, Diana, the most photographed woman in the world, the people's princess, the woman every heart adored and every camera worshipped. And sources claim Meghan didn't just admire her, she studied her, like a student preparing for the performance of a lifetime. Her interviews, her gestures, her soft tilts of the head, the way she blinked gently like she was fragile, that sweet little giggle that sounded innocent and shy. It's said Meghan memorized them all, obsessed even. Because here's the thing, in her early acting days, in suits, on red carpets, none of that Diana-like softness was there. No Bambi eyes, no shy smiles. Meghan was confident, loud, polished, Hollywood. But then, something changed. The moment she stepped into Prince Harry's world, a whole new woman appeared. Gone was the actress with sharp edges and ambition in her eyes. In her place came this gentle, tender woman with a soft laugh and humble eyes, almost too much like Diana. If this was just admiration, fine. But the timing, the suddenness, the precision, it felt calculated, like she'd been rehearsing this role for years, waiting for her cue. And when that cue finally came, in the form of a heartbroken prince still haunted by his mother's death, the stage lights turned on. See, Harry wasn't just any man. He was the prince, Diana's son, the boy who lost his mother in the glare of flashing cameras, the boy who grew up under pressure, grief, and constant scrutiny. Insiders say he was wounded, emotionally fragile, desperate for understanding. And that's when Meghan made her move. The study phase was over. The performance had begun. According to royal insiders, Meghan didn't just fall for a prince, she targeted the prince. The one whose pain made him the easiest to reach, the easiest to comfort, and the easiest to pull close. She knew exactly which strings to play. She spoke softly, she listened deeply, she mirrored his feelings. She became the woman who understood him, and in return, Harry gave her his whole heart, blind, unguarded, and ready to protect her against the world. To him, Meghan seemed like everything he lost: warmth, compassion, gentleness. She was the mirror image of the love he'd once known from his mother. But to Meghan, if you believe the whispers, that love was power. Because when you win someone's heart, darling, you win their choices. And from that moment, the shift began. Harry, once strong, cheeky, confident, started to change. Slowly, almost invisibly. His laughter became quieter. His decisions, smaller. His world began to revolve around hers. Sources claim Meghan began directing little things at first, how they appeared together, what he said, where he went. Then, bigger things, interviews, projects, statements, even the way he stood during photo ops. And yes, there are actual clips of her physically guiding him, adjusting his movements, controlling a kiss for the cameras. Tiny gestures, but together they painted a chilling picture. The prince had become the supporting role in his own story, and while Harry faded, Meghan started shining brighter. Insiders whispered that she called the shots behind closed doors, when to speak, when to stay silent, what to say, how to frame it. If she wanted him home, he stayed home. If she wanted him gone, he went. She became the director, the producer, and the lead actress, all in one. But then came the turning point. Meghan's relationship with the royal family started to crack, and instead of soft gratitude for being welcomed into the most powerful family on earth, Meghan turned her fire on them. She complained about her royal life, about not having her passport even though she traveled multiple times that year, about how no one supported her, about how she was silenced. But royal watchers noticed she wasn't being silenced. She was controlling the narrative, and oh, she knew how to play the victim. She knew. According to palace insiders, Meghan positioned herself as the misunderstood heroine, the outsider wronged by the crown, the young duchess fighting against an ancient, cold institution. But the more she rebelled, the more she pulled Harry away from everything and everyone that once grounded him. His brother, his friends, his home. She didn't just walk into the palace, she walked him out of it. Gone were the smiles, the laughter, the soldier who once stood beside his brother in strength. What remained was a man who followed, silent, subdued, devoted, while Meghan stood front and center, poised, confident, radiant, and unshaken. And when they finally broke away from the royal family, Meghan's independence didn't look like a fresh start. It looked like a takeover. She began signing deals, appearing on magazine covers, doing interviews that focused not on them, but on her voice, her struggles, her brand. People started asking, was this about love or legacy? Because the deeper you look, the more the theory chills you to the bone. Maybe, just maybe, Harry was never the end goal. Maybe he was the key that unlocked the palace doors, the bridge to fame, power, and global influence. A prince turned platform. Think about it. Diana was adored for her compassion, her pain, her humanity. Meghan seemed to follow that exact formula, suffering in public, speaking her truth, becoming the modern victim. But unlike Diana, whose heart bled sincerity, Meghan's moves seemed rehearsed. The charity speeches, the soft emotional tone, the perfectly timed tears, all straight out of Diana's emotional playbook. Only this time, it wasn't about being loved, it was about being remembered. And once the title Duchess of Sussex was hers, once she gained global attention and rebranded herself from actress to activist, from Hollywood to royalty, Harry started fading from her spotlight. In interviews, she spoke of her struggles, rarely of his. In projects, she starred, he supported. The same pattern, again and again. The man once known for his own light now appeared dim beside her. So maybe, just maybe, this wasn't a fairy tale after all. Maybe it was a performance, a perfectly rehearsed one. The soft-spoken girl in love act that won her a prince, a crown-adjacent life, and a story that the whole world couldn't stop watching. And as for Harry, he became part of the script, the emotional centerpiece, the proof of her transformation from TV actress to global figure. But like every play, the final act is where the truth slips through the cracks. Because lately, even royal watchers can't ignore what's happening. The tension, the distance, the strange interviews, the contradictions. The mask, as they say, is beginning to slip. You can almost feel it, that quiet, creeping shift. The plan, if there ever was one, is wobbling. The charm is cracking, and the prince, once under her spell, is starting to look lost. So the question hangs heavy. Was Harry truly the love of her life, or the greatest prop in the most extraordinary performance the royal world has ever seen? And oh my dear, that's the part that keeps the palace up at night. Because if love was never the goal, then what happens now that the role is played, the fame is secured, and the audience, the world, has seen it all? Maybe the most chilling truth isn't what she did, but how perfectly she did it. The gestures, the timing, the heartache, the tears, every piece fitting together too neatly, too powerfully, too intentionally. The cameras are still rolling, the headlines still spinning, and somewhere between the love story and the legend, one question refuses to die. Did Meghan Markle marry for love or for legacy? Because if this was a fairy tale, darling, it wasn't the kind Disney would ever dare to write.